Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your Date to Remember tarot reading for Leo Sun, Leo Rising, and Leo Moon. So I've already laid out your cards, the three most significant dates in August. The first one is the 13th. Now this is a day where you are really focused on the future. Perhaps there's a relationship in the distant future. Maybe you're planning your future together as a couple. You're making some long-range plans. This may even be about a road trip or getting on the road and the wisdom of that. So you may be listening to your higher self about where you're headed, what direction you're going to go in, where your relationship is headed. And maybe you want to get some information about that, a truth, knowledge, and some peace of mind. Maybe you're even seeking some spiritual guidance about where this is headed. So the wisdom of the future, having foresight, looking ahead, long-range goals. And you also have it's okay to run wild. So perhaps there's something that, the wisdom of something. Is it okay to run wild? What kind of precautionary measures should you be taking? Or having fun, planning your future together and taking the joy in that, approaching it with abandon. It's okay to let loose, to be free, to set goals, to look into the distance. So something about the 13th is very future oriented for you. The next date you have is the 18th. And this is a day where maybe you're feeling a bit trapped by a circumstance. Either the relationship you're in is making you feel trapped and unable to progress, or circumstances. It could be that you and someone you're involved with, maybe you need greater freedom, or you find that a confining situation is hindering you from sharing your best self or making the most of yourself. There's some kind of inner transformation taking place inside. And maybe you've been bottling something up or repressing something. Maybe you're not saying what you need to. It connects to kindred spirits. So maybe you feel trapped by your group of friends, or maybe you feel like you don't want to share everything with your friends. Or maybe you need a new circle of friends. So you're focused on where you're feeling trapped, how you can, really make some changes that are beneficial in your collaborations, working together with others, partnerships, celebrations, socializing. So perhaps you've been holding yourself back, or you feel held back, but you're looking at your collaborations and areas where, again, you haven't been able to make the most of yourself. Exploring my own inner landscape allows me to cultivate the love I seek. So perhaps you're getting clear on what kind of connections that you want to make, what kind of collaborations feel good to you, what kind of partnerships, associations, friendships actually enhance who you are or detract from that. And what is it that you want to share with other people versus keep to yourself? So getting in touch with your own inner landscape allows you to decide what kind of love, what kind of experiences you want to have, and what you want to share with others. Now, the last date you have is the 25th. And this could be a very fortunate day. There's a focus on the ideal, whatever that means to you. Perhaps this could be a relationship, somebody that possesses all of the qualities you admire. This may be someone very attractive on the outside, very loving on the inside. They have the traits, the values, and attributes that you desire. And desire is a strong focus. You may be tempted towards something or someone. And perhaps, this is a very seductive energy. Maybe you're acting out a fantasy, or there's some kind of unexpected encounter that you're having. But the focus is on what you want. and what you want most, what you feel strongly about. Perhaps this is a partner that's worth spending a lifetime together, or someone who is marriage material. It could be that you are very popular, or you have a desire to be popular. It could be a variety of suitors taking notice of you, so you may be at the center of attention. Now, in some cases, perhaps your desires are thwarted. Maybe you're not getting what you want, and you're very focused on, whatever you have in your mind as the perfect whatever. But you could very well be getting what you desire. Maybe you're getting some gifts, some recognition, some good fortune. Something is happening. And I flower as I learn to love me. So as you begin to appreciate yourself, recognize your own self-value, honor yourself, you raise your vibration, and you attract more of the good stuff. So the more you're loving you, the more you attract people who are inclined to do the same. So the underlying energy is this scorecard, which is interesting given your cards. This is a card of really looking at things in a very critical way, perhaps hypercritical. This is keeping score. So maybe you're, closely evaluating something because you want this ideal in the future and you feel like you've been held back from it. Maybe you need to make some changes. It may stem from your criticism or, the bar being so high that you can't reach the ideal, or perhaps you're not discerning enough. You may have been involved in relationships where there was scorekeeping or competitiveness, tit-for-tat behaviors, or a history of recording all of the perceived mental wrongs. So, there's never really forgiveness because there's an ongoing record of, okay, you did this, you didn't do this, you should have done this, you ought to, you didn't, and so, you stay stuck in resentment or arguments, or there's an unwillingness to share or compromise, maybe based on self-righteousness. Now, that could be you and your history with relationships, or you've been dealing with people. But again, the more you love yourself and raise your own vibration, the better your experiences will be. So you have to look at where there's been some inconsistencies in behavior and speech, where perhaps somebody's been unreliable or thoughtless, or maybe there's a fear of making important changes, or fear of commitment, or a rigidity in thinking that keeps you stuck and keeps you locked in upheaval and discord. So this is taking a closer look at that, looking behind the curtain. Maybe you find that something looks ideal, and once you take a closer look at it, you see, what's there. Or you're looking at how perhaps you've pushed the envelope, and that's been blocking you from receiving the ideal. It is important for you to notice the better parts of situations, the magic. Now, for some of you, this may be a focus on paperwork. You may be looking at documents, perhaps travel documents. Maybe you're purchasing a ticket, or you're going somewhere, or you need to keep the receipts, or look over records or contracts or documentation that tie to gifts or fortune, something that relates to your future, perhaps that's been held back from you, or where you haven't said anything, or something that you need to put out there. So that's also possible. Now, your advice is worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So this is that thing that's worth waiting for, whatever that is to you, the relationship, the ideal circumstance, some project, whatever it is, something that is worth waiting for. Take the risk. Now, you have to determine whether the risk you're taking is worth it, or perhaps taking a risk towards something that is actually worth waiting for. Your muse energy for the month is the goddess Nike and ambition. So let's see what she has to say. The Greek goddess Nike asks you to be present to the beauty and richness discovered in your life so far. You've come this distance, so what are your wins? Celebrating them is key right now to enable you to co-create even more. You live in a world where you may have felt that you were not allowed to celebrate your victories, lest you be cut down for being self-centered. Perhaps you were raised in a family that discouraged you from shining in an authentic way. Being successful at the game of life requires you to refuse the message that you are too much or not enough. Your biggest win is to be yourself, accepting yourself exactly as you are, releasing the idea that you are flawed in any way, and expressing yourself with authenticity. This is the true power of the Victory Goddess Nike expressed through you. The Goddess Nike has another message to share. If you've been struggling to move to the next level of your life, working hard and putting the time and effort in, you will soon find you are finally winning. Your determination and commitment to your intentions are manifesting in your life with beautiful results. When you are winning, the world wins too. Just remember to share your bounty. So, this scorecard, keeping score. Are you winning? Is there a competitiveness where somebody is trying to block you from getting ahead? Do you feel trapped? Are you trapping yourself? Or you're holding back your authentic voice? It's time to look at where, self-limiting associations, behaviors, or patterns have been in place, and to free yourself of that, because again, you are winning, especially when you're loving yourself and cultivating the conditions for the experience that you actually want. All right, Leo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notify bell button, and please leave me some comments.